Is democracy the solution to African leadership issues? What is the history of democracy? The word democracy was coined in Athens after Cleisthenes reformed the constitution from the old autocratic system around 300 to 500 AD. Democracy was the opposite of the old style of ruling, which was autocracy. It comes from the words demos means people and kratos means rule or power. And then to make the word democracy, which defines people's rule or people's power. Auto means one or self, to make the word autocracy, which is defined as the power or rule one has. So the practice of democracy was closely associated with the meaning of the word. Democracy in Athens was direct and not representative. People in Athens did not elect representatives to decide and speak on their behalf. However, it was only male citizens who participated, which means females and slaves were excluded. Where did Cleisthenes get the inspiration to reform from autocracy to democracy? According to the Senegalese historian Cheikh Anta Diop, it was Solon, the Athenian political philosopher, who inspired the Cleisthenes reformations. This is the work of the Greek philosophers. Who are these famous Greek philosophers? These were educated or enlightened Greek citizens. Was there any academy in Greece during this era? One of the earliest was the Platonic Academy, established by the Greek philosopher Plato in approximately 387 BCE. This was a long way after the establishment of the Egyptian and Mesopotamian schools. The question remains, where do they get this enlightenment? To get a basic understanding of the origins of Greek philosophy, we need to know the sources of these famous Greek philosophers. According to the book titled Stolen Legacy, George M. James shows us where the Greek philosophers got their knowledge. Historical archaeology has proven that the oldest civilized and organized societies in the world were Egypt and Mesopotamia. James states that all Greek philosophers studied in ancient Egypt. Diop in his writings states that Solon also studied in Egypt. Greek writer Diodorus also mentions the Greeks who traveled to Egypt for scholarship, the likes of Pythagoras of Samos and even Solon the lawgiver. So we got the proof that the word democracy was coined in Greece, but the practice of the rule of all the people by the people has been there in Africa and Mesopotamia long before the creation of the word democracy. If it is true that the Greek philosophers learnt the practice in Africa, does that mean democracy is the solution to the leadership issues? European historians tell us that ancient Egypt was a highly centralized monarchy ruled by a pharaoh who was considered both a divine ruler and the supreme political authority. The pharaoh's power was absolute and governance was based on a hierarchical bureaucracy rather than collective decision-making by citizens. These are elements of ancient Egyptian leadership, according to European historians. Divine kingship. The pharaoh was believed to be selected by God or the divine being, often associated with Horus or later Amun-Ra, and had ultimate control over the state, military, and religion. Bureaucracy, a network of officials, viziers, monarchs, scribes, administered the kingdom, but mostly they served at the pharaoh's pleasure. No popular elections. There were no democratic institutions like assemblies or voting for leaders. Local leaders, monarchs, governed provinces but were appointed or approved by the pharaoh. Polytheistic religious authority. Laws and policies were justified or legitimized by drawing upon a divine or supernatural source, not public debate. However, Diop argues that the African political system was indeed democratic. He states that Solon was enlightened by the way African leaders ruled in Egypt. He gives an example of the leadership of Amenhotep IV, who later took the name Akhenaton, which means the servant of Aten, the unique god, a pharaoh of ancient Egypt who reigned during the 18th dynasty. There was no caste system like in Europe. Everyone was equal before the divine god. The African territories were huge and complex compared to Greece. Everyone couldn't participate, hence there were representatives from each clan or region. From Kemet to Mwenemutapa, Lunda to Ghana, and Mali to Songhai, every African monarchy was made up of several municipalities. This is why a representative democracy was required rather than a direct one. The public policy was designed and implemented by all, and the interest of all was taken into account. What kind of leadership can help the modern African society? The leadership with a mission to serve the people and protect our natural resources is the one that can benefit African societies. Democracy or autocracy, in my opinion, doesn't matter. What matters is that it must react to or deliver the solutions that nature and society require. Taking good care of natural resources and supporting the evolution of humankind. Taking care of natural resources and supporting human evolution are intertwined. Taking care of natural resources ensures the availability of essential elements like shelter, water, air, and food for human survival and development. Sustainable resource management helps maintain healthy ecosystems that support human life and provides opportunities for scientific advancement, education, and technological progress, ultimately contributing to human evolution.